Britain has become a corpse overgrown by grass, heaps up broken canopies where the sunlight once danced with the mysterious darkness of the forest. Now it forms the meticulously constructed pyre of our own national funeral. A shadow lingers where the great boughs once reached for the sky, a hollow echo in the heart of these isles where the British rainforests once breathed freely in temperate groves, as did the rustic red squirrel. It is a sorrow deep-rooted, a river whose current is wistful regret, this deep rot of fear that their verdant splendour, their ancient majesty, shall never truly return, hangs heavy on the heart and tears at the ancient threads that bind us together with this land and each other. The great trees felled by the relentless machine, a monument to our own unthinking hands and the folly of our relentless war, fought with reckless abandon against the very living womb which nurtured us so, stand now only in the fading light of collective memory, slumped over in the throne of the crumbling ruins, as rooted in this land as were the trees that once stood vigil here. Once as numerous as the stars of the heavenly tapestry, as valuable as the gold of the earth, and as abundant as the gems in the mine, now they stand sparsely amidst a grave of grey concrete and perfectly ordered rows of exploited and irrigated land. How can the chorus of native life, once so vibrant, still find its voice amidst this diminished realm? Can even a whisper of that wild symphony endure? The thought, a chilling draught, suggests their silent, unseen retreat, a ghost of what was, in a machine that now is. And yet a flicker remains, a stubborn ember in the soul. To surrender is to concede to final silence. No. What can be coaxed from the wounded earth, what fragments of that shattered Eden can re-emerge, must be nurtured. Against the tide of doubt, a path still exists, perhaps through devotion, through attending, born of sorrow and love, we might yet beckon them home. The rustle of returning wings, the soft footfall in the undergrowth covered in the speckle of the sun's brilliance, dancing between the veil of the contented leaves. Imagine then these reborn groves, however fragile, standing as a monument to a rebirth of the land and of the soul of those who both rest and toil upon it in dutifully equal measure. Not to our folly alone should we make this so, but to a love for the wild that outlived our gravest of errors, that Faustian desire to craft an artificial nature within the desolation of that which gave unto us freely and without condition the gifts of life, a testament to a people that, having known the road to efficient perdition, chose to humble themselves, to kneel and help mend the scars caused by their hubris and contemptuous abandoning of the old ways. Even as the shadows may lengthen, we cannot let the silence win. It poses a haunting question, does it not? Where have the trees gone? And why have the giant trees vanished into that good night? Britain is not alone here, and this is very much a universal issue, plaguing all of mankind, and our once quaintly lush and magical environment. Indeed, one gazes upon the scattered remnants, the precious few sentinels like the redwood and giant sequoia of California, and places in the northwest of the USA, and wonder, where did the colossal forests of yore vanish? Where slumber the giants of old, patiently waiting in the limbo of dream for their awakening? What great evil put pay to nature's monuments that once touched the clouds across vast swathes of our world? The answer, whispered on the lonely winds that now sweep over far emptier plains, is largely a story of us, and our folly to destroy everything in our doom-ridden quest for managerial-like efficiency and greed, and the devilish re-envisioning of nature herself by our own crude and fallible designs. It is a tale etched into the rings of time, not just of the trees, but of human endeavour, often unthinking in its expansion. For millennia, as civilizations rose and spread, that patterned plantation for human domestication and the detachment from the natural way of life, the great forests were seen not always as wonders to preserve, but as resources to be claimed and ravaged. The parasite of civilization, not content with simply leeching from its civilly corralled human cattle, sought to devour all of the earth with a great and unyielding lust. Indeed, as the urban centres were very much artificial areas that housed the mercantile elite, then it required the wealth generated by raw or processed materials provided by the rural areas for its own vampiric survival. In time, the cosmopolitan cancer endeavoured to erode the autonomy of the rural areas, culturally and whatnot, by the introduction, firstly, of the domineering tendrils of vast networks of roads, then secondly, by media and wandering troops of cultural influencers, and then finally, by land reforms and forcibly uprooting the ancient folk from their ancestral lands and carrying them off into the disease-ridden and densely populated cesspits of the city by the spirit of night. In these urban sepulchres that scarcely saw daylight amidst the smog of supposed progress, these innocent souls were tightly packed like cattle and were worked mercilessly to the bone, breaking their backs to lift Moloch up to heaven. However, the city and its merchant elite had an insatiable hunger for more, which was funnily enough influenced, or fueled rather, by their controlled currency scheme of a fiat monetary system that tied the incessancy of growth to the maintaining of the wealth and prosperity of not only the city, but of the merchant elite themselves. That is due to the fact that the elite's wealth was inflation-driven, meaning to maintain the fictitious monetary value of the fiat currency in the face of its ever-inflating supply, they had to also inflate the services and goods, along with the logistical and production infrastructure, coupled with the incessantly expanding road networks to increase the frequency or velocity of currency exchange in new markets and growth sectors. By that token, what we mean is that what provides the otherwise worthless fiat currency value is the regularity and speed of it changing hands, which ultimately leads to a robust and well-lubricated economic machine, and subsequently, this observably effective said economic machine fills the market participants with confidence in the currency, where otherwise there would be none. It is the same principle as, say, if we simply told the same lie over and over again, proliferating and popularising this inherent deception, and having it spoken on every lip in the realm, then it shall eventually be seen as a universal truth by all those who spoke of it and duly heard it. Hence the confidence in the fiat currency, the belief in its value, however astringently depreciating that may be, is what perpetuates the con. Though this said expansion of the economic machine, as a way to maintain the buoyancy of and shore up the rigged system, must be done through the continued desecration of the land and the exploitation of every last parcel and hectare for both living space and raw materials. The complete unveiling of Mother Nature herself, laying bare her nakedness for the perverse pleasures of a rabid horde of morally dearth barbarians who fascinatingly believe themselves to be civilized. Truly their foreboding age is upon us, and they pontificate wildly regarding progress, as we ironically seem to be progressing ever closer to the precipice. Their state religion is platitude, and their lauded virtues and championed values amount to little more than vacuous window dressing for the shameful placation of a spiritually repugnant and morally bankrupt cosmopolitan elite. Wherefore do the titans of yore lie in slumber deep, biding eternal time and dreams uncertain keep, till the morrow's dawn when their rest shall break, and from their drowsy state shall they wake.